Here's a fun piece of observation. Yuri Plisetsky from Yuri on Ice looks similar to Ash Lynx from Banana Fish. Suspiciously similar, I would say. And the same goes for the Doghead boys as well. Next time you watch an anime and think it's homosexual, see if one of the characters is from Kazakhstan. I think that's an obvious indicator. But anyway, enough about Japanese pornographic cartoons, we're here to talk about American pornographic cartoons. The Loud House is an ongoing slice-of-life sitcom show developed by Nickelodeon. The first season has 26 or so episodes, of which I have watched only 18 because eventually it became pretty evident that the show is going to stick to its guns, and well, so do I. The plot of the show is about what you expect from a typical American sitcom. In a typical American city and or suburbia, there lives a titular Loud family in their Loud house, and the story centers around their shenanigans. Our main hero is Lincoln Loud, the only boy in a family of 10 sisters, each of whom follows a distinct character stereotype so obvious that I immediately remembered the Wacky Races, because the character development in both that and the Loud House are roughly the same. Each episode has a befitting pun for a name and a title card, sometimes pretty good, sometimes a bit obnoxious, and goes kinda like this. Lincoln is doing or being forced to do something retarded, and the entire family or one of his sisters gets involved in it. Then typical cartoon comedy happens, they all learn their lesson, how they love each other, and it all ends either with Lincoln narrating the moral of the story, usually something about family ties, or slapstick. And honestly, for what the show tries to be, it's actually pretty decent. Yeah, I kinda shat all over it just the previous minute, but I'm not dumb. I understand that this isn't supposed to be some epic story that you tune in to witness to the very end. This is a sitcom. It has generic but decently written characters and generic but useful to know morals. A good, mindless fun for kids and adults alike to watch an episode a day and relax. Nothing more, nothing less. But if I were to stop being a fence-sitter and actually be critical for once, I would say that the Loud House heavily suffers from clichevitis, one of the most dreaded diseases a critic can face. Literally every plot point of every episode I've watched is not just typically cliched and can probably be found in about a dozen shows before that. The age of some of these cliches goes so far as to the early 50s and 60s, and I wasn't making comparison to old Hanna-Barbera cartoons as a joke. Something is seriously wrong in the plot department when I can pinpoint episodes of Tom and Jerry for references. The graphics are fairly nice looking and smooth, but once again remind me of at least a couple similarly animated cartoons. The music is a generic rockish soundtrack that has some alternates, but be prepared to hear the same. Another thing that I personally didn't find to be that obnoxious, but apparently Russians and people of African faith don't like, is that the show... how do I put it? Places two homosexuals as parents for the show's stereotypical main character's friend. Not sure why people of Kenya found that so offensive though. So far they were only in 2 episodes, only in one of them did they have an important role, and well, this is a sitcom about children, which means that parents here are either practically non-existent or utterly and irreversibly brain damaged. I was less irritated with them being homosexuals and more irritated with them being the typical hyper-allergic kind family of intellectuals cliché, because heaven forbid we actually be original. That would require effort, and knowing Nickelodeon, they would rather openly support the